Welcome to the 2019 Ed Hedrick Disc Golf Hall of Fame Classic. I'm Elaine King.
And I'm Holly Finley. Thank you so much for joining us.
We're bringing you round 2 coverage of the top card in FPO. Hole 1, right away you have a choice, left side or right side. The drone's taking the right side, which I favor because it leaves you lined up for your second shot through this straight alley. You want to get over the road if possible for the second shot to make it more easy to navigate the trees between you and the basket.
So Paige Pierce is starting us off. She probably meant to take the right gap and got an early release. It is rough to the left, but you can get out and still get a par from there.
And Sarah looks like she's lining up the left gap, which really suits a sidearm throw. And it looks like she's hitting that really nicely. Beautiful shot. You want to be on that right side when you end up. Jess also taking the sidearm. Again, a little bit of a late comeback, but yes, she hits a gap.
Perfect position. I think the stump is pretty much an aiming point for most people that play this hole.
It didn't turn enough.
Fortunate that you landed in the fairway though. So
it is. I early released that. I don't think I attacked that first drive like I should have. And I didn't quite attack the second drive the way I should have. I don't think I was standing up.
Third time's a charm. That looks good. When you get to the road, I feel like you pretty much know you're going to get up and down from there. So the road is a good spot to aim at.
Sarah trying to anhyzer around the side of those trees, and look at that.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, that was a tricky line to hit. She hit it beautifully. That gives her a long look.
Wow, so as you can see, it is quite rough over to the left, and Paige had no choice but to pitch out. Jess in the perfect position. You could probably take a birdie 3 from that perfect center spot.
Well, look at that snap on that drive.
Wow.
And she puts it right near circle's edge.
Incredible.
She'll be in good position to look at a birdie.
Oh, Paige hits that middle collection of trees, unfortunately. She's finding the struggle bus here on the first hole, but we know how Paige's style is. She'll pick it up soon. That was a unique choice from you, a roller.
Well, I was really stuck in jail there. I
Okay.
didn't have an easy sidearm or backhand from where I was.
Beautiful Annie turnover from Paige. Leaves herself with a no-stress putt. We all like that on the first hole.
Sarah going for a long birdie. Almost. She's been really successful with this high lofting push putt.
I would agree with you. She has perfected it. Wow, what a good run from you.
It was just a bit high. That would have been nice to save my par. And Jess also going for the birdie.
Jess with her Annie putt that we all love to watch. So the ladies are tapping in. Unfortunately, Paige gets a bogey to start off. Double bogey.
Yeah, don't look. In fact,
We're not looking.
Women found this hole to be pretty difficult. It was the third most difficult hole. 67% of fairway hits, yet nobody got a birdie on this hole in round 2.
Wow. We'd like to thank our coverage sponsor, the PDGA and Ret Tech Grills, for this coverage of the FPO card. Okay, here we are. I love this hole. It does favor a right-hand backhand thrower. However, you can do a beautiful flex turnover if you want. Just take this right gap, try to land anywhere in the circle, and you might get yourself a birdie. I do find long putts are common on this hole.
Yeah, we saw on the round 1 coverage, several of the women canned a long putt. Sarah didn't quite flex it enough. That is such a hard shot
It
for
really
a
is.
sidearm right-hand thrower. Really sets up much for the backhand.
Jess is throwing her Valkyrie.
And she early released that. She wanted to swing it much wider. However, I do think she has a long look at it from there.
Oh, Paige with a bit of an early release, unfortunately, hitting that tree. That's going to make a tough up and down, but we'll see how she fares. You take a rather low approach, but I think that we're all happy to make it to the ditch.
Yeah, if I can make it to the ditch, that's a very easy up and down.
I agree.
So she's got a gap, and she hits it.
Full power, a tick off the tree.
That tree
Wow.
love really helped.
That was an incredible upshot.
I made it over the ditch and just plunking up my upshot there to be somewhere close to the basket.
Jess prepping a nice float shot with her Sonic, no doubt.
Yeah, that's definitely her Sonic. It looks like it was more of an upshot. Looks like she was about 60 feet away. Sarah's a bit constrained.
Ah, beautiful turnover up from Sarah.
Backhand, no less.
I know.
Paige for the par.
Great putt.
Yeah, you can put it down on the bottom there.
That was a good par save. Really good scramble.
And actually, none of the FPO field birdied this hole either this round.
Really?
And we'd expect, perhaps 4 or 5 birdies. There's a lot of women
Absolutely.
who have the power to reach the hole.
Good par putt from Sarah. And Jess tapping in for her par. Thank you, Disc Baron.
Hole number 3 is one of the newer holes at Jackson. It's got a fairly wide fairway, but as you can see, the drone coverage shows it taking a turn. There's a ditch you want to get over, and look at that random assortment of trees. No matter where you land, you're going to have a slightly different line to the basket each time.
With Sarah's shot shaping, she can make it around the corner, which leaves her with a much easier upshot, I feel like, than a right-hand backhand player.
Yeah, and Jess, that can do either, is also choosing the sidearm, because as you say that, it's much easier to get it in a favorable position, but I think she pulled it slightly.
Paige throwing a putter off the tee here.
Yeah, she likes to throw a putter because I think she's got so much power that she ends up getting herself in trouble if
Yep.
she throws a driver off the tee.
It's a good placement shot.
And I'm trying to get it right about where Paige is.
Just a nice hyzer placement shot. Perfect position. So from there, we're all trying to throw it around the corner. Hopefully we can hyzer up into the circle and maybe have a putt at a long 3.
And Paige just mistimed that and got caught up in that middle clump of trees, which is what you definitely want to avoid. I'm trying to aim well to the right of that, have my disc hyzer in left. Something like that.
Ah, perfectly executed.
Yeah. Sarah had that long grass that was in her backswing. She actually went back and forth several times from that position, took a mini, took a step out, trying to get away from that tall grass, but I think it did interfere in that throw. Just trying to make it all the way around the corner. Needed to be a little bit more on its back, which is such a touchy shot.
Paige opting for another putter shot and just a little bit offline.
Yeah, Paige has not been hitting her line so far this round. Very unlike her. She's usually quite accurate.
Opting for the same putter again, just a little chip shot. She's just going to finish it out and move along.
Sarah
Wow.
giving herself easy work.
Yeah,
For the
absolutely.
par. And I'm throwing a spin there, which is an understable putter. Beautifully floats around corners.
Yeah, that was a pretty shot.
Looks like the Sonic again from Jessica.
Oh, that was a favorable kick. Well, you made that look really easy, Elaine. And I think that we're all very happy with a par here, which is a 4 for us. I mean, this hole is just more about placement, I believe, than trying to bite off too much on each shot. It's better just to stay out of the rough and take a 4 and move on to the next.
And take a 4 is what most of the field did. There were no birdies this round.
Oh, wow.
Again, it seems like everyone had a slow start
Yeah.
on round 2. We had first 3 holes, no birdies from anyone in the field.
Thanks, PDGA. Okay, hole 4. Oh, this is my favorite hole on the course. It's one of the newer holes since they did the redesign. It is basically just a tunnel shot through the woods. I've heard a lot of the top male players say that this hole gets them in a lot of trouble. So I know it makes a lot of people nervous. It is quite a tight hole, but it's a birdieable hole, and I think we would all love to get a 2 here.
Extraordinarily difficult, though, if you're a right-hand sidearm player. And yeah, Sarah knows right out of her hand that she didn't give it enough turnover.
Jess throwing her Valkyrie again.
Hold it.
Ah, she makes it all the way to the circle.
I feel like that by skill you can get most of the way down the fairway, but that last 50 feet you need a little bit of good fortune. And I did not get the good fortune there.
That's the fortune you were referring to.
Paige, online now.
I did one.
She's pleased. It feels very rewarding to make it through this fairway. It is just so tight and so wooded, and if you're just a little bit off, it can be very brutal.
That's close enough.
Yeah, that'll do.
I'm just laying it up there. There is a little bit of a downward slope. Doesn't show up so much with this camera angle, but Paige is actually putting downhill there. And as you can see, she missed, and it did travel farther by than she would have liked, and now she's going to have a bit of a challenge. For birdie.
Just a not enough power on that putt. It's unfortunate to see when you make it all the way down on one of the most difficult holes and then you miss out on the opportunity. But you know what? A 3 still feels great here. So Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, as you mentioned, if you don't hit that fairway to begin with, you can get yourself in quite a bit of trouble. This is a tester for Paige.
Wow. From the knee.
Yeah, it was at least as long as her original putt.
Yeah.
And the only FPO division person in round 2 to get a deuce on this hole was Christine Jennings.
Oh,
So
I
well
saw
done,
that
Christine.
yesterday. Yeah, she parked it with a sidewinder and basically had a very short, almost drop-in putt. So great job, Christine.
Coverage of this broadcast is brought to us by the PDGA, MVP Disc Sports, Disc Baron, PCS Open, and we'd like to thank Jomez for the drone shots. And for those of you who've never played this course, you can see, for example, hole 5, the drone shows how tight this fairway is. It's a tunnel. You want to just hit that gap and get at least halfway down the fairway. Some of the women can reach it. It is 363 feet, so well within the range of many of the players. However, that tight tunnel makes you really think.
I think this is one of the best holes on the course.
So Sarah's left on the left side. There are spots to get out of on the left side. Just flipping almost enough, but not quite.
As
She
we can
hits a
see
late tree.
trend with her Valkyrie, so she's choosing that for quite a lot of the shots out here.
Yeah.
I see you choosing this reddish disc. Is that?
That's a relay.
Okay.
That's kind of a fairway driver. Flies very flat, and all I'm trying to do is get most of the way through the tunnel. Paige attacking the hole. Almost got there. Again, just needed a little bit more flip, but she's very close to the basket. She
And
gets
as
up
you
down.
mentioned before, just making it halfway down is good enough.
A little bit turned over, but within circle 1 it looks like.
Absolutely. Oh, unfortunately, that limb gets the best of that upshot, but it's still in Jess's range, so she can save par from there. Ah, perfect.
And Paige is putting for a birdie. That's a no stress par.
Absolutely. Jess trying for the par save. Not enough height on that. She knew right out of her hand.
Yeah, she did. There's Sarah going for her par save.
Oh, too far on the right. Unfortunately, it didn't catch. And most of us call that the strong side of the basket. All right. I think a par feels great on this hole.
Oh, absolutely. And in fact, slightly more than half the women did not achieve a par and were bogey or double bogey on the hole. If you have an early hit, this hole is super tough because some of the rough earlier on is just jail, and it's tough to get back to the fairway even.
All right. The ladies are moving on. A couple bogeys, unfortunately. Couple pars. Thanks, MVP. Hole 6, the split hole. The drone's taking the right side, but let's not forget about the left side, which is equally as good, but a little bit more difficult with the low ceiling. I prefer the right side because I'm a right-hand backhand player, but again, as long as you can make it past the middle section of trees, you have a pretty easy up and down.
I think almost all players take the right side. Some left-handed players might prefer the left, but it doesn't set up even very well for a sidearm. Yeah, I'm pleased with just hitting the middle.
Absolutely.
Paige got...
There's that light you were talking about, Elaine. I kind of got blinded.
I had the same thing the same day.
This area of the course has dappled light. You can see there, and you can be in darkness, and there can be kind of blinding light. I put on my hat for certain shots because you'll be in the dark on the tee, and then, as Paige was remarking, she stepped up into the blinding light and sort of lost where she was going.
Jess throwing a turnover with a star Valkyrie, and she has really perfected that shot. Wow, you made it all the way up here. So as you can see, just landing on the right side gives you a nice open look at the basket. Oh.
Yeah, I yanked it a little bit.
That's okay, it worked out.
Yeah, I've got a chance at it there. And that camera angle really shows what Sarah has started doing now for the, 100-foot in. A lot of arm, not so much wrist flick on her sidearm, and it just sort of lofts the disc there. Really well controlled.
Paige has also been doing a lot of sidearm upshots, I've noticed this year. She said she's really been working on it, which we can see because they're landing really close to the basket. So good for her.
I've got a little bit of an uphill putt.
Oh, Elaine, I thought you were going to get that.
I just needed a little bit more height.
Never count you out for the long putts.
It's like more likely to have weird grip. Yeah.
I'd like to give a shout out to one of the youngest players on tour, Heather Young, who on this hole threw it in for a 2. She took the left side with a right-hand sidearm and threw it in for a 2. Really impressive, Heather.
That brings us to hole 7. Right-hand, backhand players will do a hyzer to get to the landing zone, and then a high hyzer to try and reach the basket. It's possible for the women to get a 3, but you need to land in the right spot with your drive and really execute the second shot.
Look at Sarah with the bag bacon.
Why not? Bacon does a body good.
Sarah's always got the best bag snacks.
And Paige knows right out of her hand that she did not swing it out wide enough.
Absolutely.
Sarah executing a backhand. I haven't seen her throw so many backhands this year, but this one looks like it's a beauty.
It's incredible. Yes, good for her.
Jess looks like she's landing in a great spot as well.
Are you throwing a driver here, Elaine?
Yeah, I'm throwing a neutron vanish.
Wow, so aside from Paige, everyone landed in the perfect spot to attack this for a birdie.
So let's see how we do. This is Paige's third shot. She's lined up with that gap. This is a great illustration of the light and dark that makes it a little bit hard to judge distance. I know, Paige looks like she's just a little bit tight. She's yanking things a little bit, early releasing sometimes. Let's see if she can get back on track.
Sarah opts for the middle gap, which I, of course, love. You know, she's great at throwing through the woods, so I absolutely love it when she takes those tighter routes. It's so impressive to watch.
I didn't even see that route until she popped one over there. It's like, oh, never thought of doing that.
Get off it, get off it.
It is so tough to get all the way up there
I
because
could've-
it's like a downhill uphill, if you will. Your run up is almost downhill while you're throwing uphill.
Yeah, and as you can see, we all had problems running the gauntlet. It's one of these holes where just having your drive a couple feet one way or the other makes you feel more or less comfortable with lining up that second shot.
You've got quite a challenge in the corner here.
Well, once I got through the initial gap,
Oh,
it
that was great.
clear sailing.
Yeah. We're seeing a lot of shots from Paige with this red putter. If she wants, it seems like a hyzer finish, she's pulling out this red putter.
It's a Marshall,
Okay.
and she throws a lot of shots with the Marshall. And as you may see her sometimes throw a red Marshall that will turn over gently. So I think that's one of these nice beat-in putters that
I
she has,
gotcha.
that she can put any angle on it, and it just keeps the angle she gives it. A little bit short. Again, it's still a fair bit uphill. It doesn't look like it from the video, but we all know, we who've played it, how uphill it is.
Wow, a good bogey save from Paige there. As you can see, Elaine had this basically just a tap in, but you still take your time and go through the routine, which I think is very important.
I hate to miss short putts. Holly, do you know who the only woman was to get a birdie?
That would be
on record?
me.
That would be Holly Finley, had the lone birdie on this hole.
Oh, thank you. Hole 8, this is a beautiful hole. Right off the tee, you have to either land at the corner or do a slight turnover. You don't want to get too greedy and bite off too much off the tee. This is a par 4, so just get up here with a couple shots near the basket, and hopefully you can take a 4 and walk away unscathed. I think this is a very difficult hole, with the tee shot being the most difficult part of it.
Now this hole really sets up for a sidearm. So Sarah is going to try and see how much distance she can gain up that dog leg. Looking good.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, biting off so much turn on the drive is, we all want that, but you know, at some point you just have to not get too greedy.
I was just trying to lay it up.
Are you just trying to go straight down to the corner?
I am.
Okay. Is that a putter you were using?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Let it out if you want. No, let it out.
Somebody got a sneeze?
There was a guy choking.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Do it in bursts, man.
We all know that feeling. There we go.
Paige with a nice turnover putter shot, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's her putter. She was very happy with it out of her hand, and as we can see, the tree hit made it even better. Jess is attacking this hole with the sidearm. Looks like it's a little, oh,
Wow, she makes it way around the corner and
She
rolls
does
back
indeed.
into the fairway even.
I thought she was going to be deep in the woods, and then it popped out.
You have got quite something here. Look at that. Wow, Elaine, look at you. It's like you've played in the woods before. Well,
You know,
that was fun.
when you're in that situation, you're always thrilled to hit the gap you're aiming for. Paige in great position.
Oh, not that wide.
So she was hoping for a full send. It's likely she could have made it all the way to the basket if executed properly, but again, this is a 4, so she can still save par from there. It looked like you had some footing or something going on there.
Well, the footing wasn't great, but then the way the trees lined up, there wasn't very much room between them, so I'm not too surprised I hit one. Sarah lined up with that left alley, taking full advantage.
Wow, that was beautiful.
Leaves her with well, it's a pretty long look.
The great thing about this hole is, you know, there is the left or the right. So really, no matter where you land, there is always some type of long gap to get to the basket. It's just whether you're accurate enough to throw through the gap.
I really enjoy holes like this
Me too.
where you never land in the same spot twice and you have to shape your shot differently every time.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the hardest shots in disc golf, the patent pending, the turnaround, it's just so hard to get the standstill power and be accurate at the same time.
And I think what we've seen a few times on this hole is examples of where we were trying really hard to get distance and
Exactly.
our accuracy suffered. You know, you watching at home can count the number of times you saw someone grip lock it a little bit. But there, now Jess is looking in good position. She has a long putt at it. I'm just going to chip mine up there.
That was a good standstill putter up.
Sarah, she's putting 3.
Oh my gosh, that was such a long putt.
That was huge.
Wow, so impressive. She impressed herself. Wow.
That was the only 3 on this hole of round 2. And you could
Beautiful.
see she had a big drive off the tee. She had a huge second drive, and she was still left with 40-foot plus putt. So Paige would like to try and do that as well.
Oh, Paige trying to holler back with the long putt, but you could tell she wanted it.
And she was putting between those 2 trees, which is a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, the left side isn't the strong side. I do love to watch those Annie putts float in, though.
And we'll all clean up our shots here. This was the most difficult hole for the women in round 2, and in fact, 3/4 of the field carded a bogey or more. So played really tough. And I think that's because your placement on the very first shot is crucial to whether you'll be able to get up and down for a par. Hole 9, again we've got a choice. As you can see, there's a left fairway, there's a slightly wider right fairway, and the drone is taking us through that right fairway. I'm surprised the drone isn't running into trees here. Once you get closer to the basket, there's a number of lanes. So I feel, again, once you get your second shot over the road, you can stretch out and get it to the basket.
I think placement is extremely important on this tee shot if you want a chance at the par.
Absolutely. You want to give yourself the option for either fairway, or you need to commit to one and make sure you execute. And there's Paige hanging on a little bit too much again. I'm wondering if she's just trying to kill it.
It looked like the red putter we spoke of earlier that Paige threw off the tee. Unfortunately, she was a bit offline. I think Jess took the Valkyrie out and crushed it down there. Wow.
She's a little bit in the middle of those 2 fairways. So
That can be a very tricky upshot. Sometimes you just more of a pitch out than a full power second shot. And what are you trying to do here? Are you going the left gap or are you going the right gap?
I'm going the left gap.
Okay.
And I've got a fairway driver. I just want to get myself in the middle with an option to line myself up either way, really. Paige is throwing uphill through a tunnel and just laces it down there.
She bites off a good bit of distance, but as she mentioned earlier, it might unfortunately be a bogey already. We'll see. Looks like you missed the gap a little bit there.
I definitely missed the gap I was aiming for. I think I was focusing too much on trying to power it and not enough on just hitting the gap.
Yeah, that was a really good turnover from Sarah. A lot of times you don't have to get all the way down there. This is a par 4. We like to play it for a 4. And, you know, it's perfectly okay just to bite off a medium amount of distance and then chip up your shot, take the par, and move along. I find when you get too greedy, that's when you get yourself in trouble.
Yeah, I did not hit my line there. It was an awkward placement. There's the Marshall doing its thing, and as you can see, it turns over slightly.
Wow, right
And
over the top.
yeah, she almost got a really long save.
Sarah making us all laugh there. Beautifully executed backhand upshot from Sarah. I know she's been working on those, and it's so beautiful to see how easy it is for her now.
Sarah and Jess showing how the hole should be played. And
Just a little jumper up.
Yeah, just plunk it up there. This was the hole that women found the second most difficult, which is quite interesting because it's really not that difficult.
It isn't.
Of a par 4.
Paige took her time on that one, more than I'm used to, but
Yeah, I think she might have been slightly outside circle 1 on that. It did fly by a fair bit. It's good to see Paige putting those putts in, though. Her driving and her approaching seems to be a little bit off, but she's banging the putts, and that's helping her keep her game on track.
remember, please like, share, and comment for a chance to win an MVP disc.
I can attest that MVP discs are a fine choice. As you can see, Sarah and myself wearing MVP sponsored gear.